It's raining outside. You're looking for something fun to do? You've come to the right place. Hey guys, Jason here, and welcome into Between the Strings Movie Time. So today we're talking about 5 movies that you wake up and it's cold and nasty and dreary and blah outside, and you want to do nothing more than sit on a big comfy couch and snuggle up under a blanket and watch a good movie. Well, I've got you covered with 5 great movies today. Before we start though, please feel free to give this video a like if you're enjoying my videos. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notifications bell. That way when I come up with new videos, you'll be the first to know. So let's get into 5 rainy day movies. Alright, my first movie for my 5 rainy day movies is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's That Thing You Do with Tom Hanks. Now this movie came out in 1996. It's made up of a fictional band called The Wonders, quite often mistaken for the Oneaters. And so the 5 members of the band are, of course, Jonathan Sheck, Tom Scott Everett, Ethan Embry, and Steve Zahn, who's absolutely hilarious in this movie. And they make up The Wonders. Their manager is Tom Hanks. Now, Tom is amazing. Tom wrote this movie. He directed this movie. He even wrote some of the music for this movie. Now, he didn't write That Thing You Do, the main song. That was written by Adam Schlesinger. Schlesinger. Wow, that was a hard one to say. Who sadly passed away on April 1st of this year, 2020, due to the COVID-19 virus. And it was a very sad. Adam was the lead singer of Fountains of Wayne, who had a great song that Stacy's mom has got it going on. Everyone knows that song. So he was the writer of the song, You Doing That Thing You Do. And that's the crazy, that's why I have this song, or this movie on my list, is all the music. So many great songs in this. In fact, I actually, before I go on every single leg of my tour, I watch this movie. Now, I don't always necessarily sit there and stare at it. It might be in the background while I'm packing. But I love listening to it because I love the story. If you're a musician, what a great ride. This takes place in 1960s Erie, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania represent. And it's just this group, and we watch them go from a talent show to playing a pizza place to playing local bigger gigs, and then suddenly going regional, and then eventually national. And you watch their climb to success as they become, the Wonders. And it's absolutely amazing. And it has some great secondary characters. Not even secondary, really. Liv Tyler plays Jimmy's girlfriend, the lead singer. Liv Tyler is an amazing actress in this movie. Tom Hanks, as I said, he plays their manager, Mr. White. His wife, Rita Wilson, makes a little bit of a cameo in there. As well as, if you watch the extended version, now the theatrical version doesn't have it, but the extended version has NFL star Howie Long has a little part in it. And so it is just an absolutely amazing movie. I love that Ethan Embry, you never know his name in the movie. They never say his name. In the end credits, his character is, I think, TBP, the bass player. Which is just kind of ironic because it seems like, sadly, in bands, the bass player is like the least, everyone's going to know the lead singer, the lead guitar player, even the drummer and things, but the bass player is kind of like it seems like is the joke low man on the totem pole, which I don't agree with, but it is a cliche that Tom Hanks used in this movie. So that's our first movie, That Thing You Do. If you haven't seen it, check it out. All these movies I'm going to be talking about, you should be able to, could be on Netflix, maybe on Amazon Prime, but if they're not free, then it should maybe be $2, $3 to rent this. Well worth the $3. A great movie, great music, amazing cast. That Thing You Do is number 1 on our rainy day movies. All right, our next movie today is Hot Tub Time Machine from 2010. Now, this stars John Cusack, Craig Robinson, and Rob Corddry. And they play three friends who are kind of going through a little bit of a rough patch in their lives. Now, John Cusack, of course, is in Say Anything, High Fidelity. Craig Robinson was in Pineapple Express, The Office, a lot of the Kevin Smith movies, newer Kevin Smith movies, you definitely recognize him. Rob Corddry was in Office Christmas Party, I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, Old School. And they're three friends, and then you have John Cusack's nephew, played by Clark Duke. Now, he was in Superbad, Kick-Ass, which was a kind of a cool, very dark, bizarre comedy. He was also in The Office, and he was in a really great comedy called Bad Moms. And so he plays the nephew. Now, the three friends are kind of going through bad times in their lives, and one of them tries to kill themselves, and he ends up in the hospital. And so the other two want to cheer him up. So they go back to this old cabin from when they were kids, when they were younger in high school, to try to bring back some memories and make him happy again. And they bring John Cusack's nephew along, and they end up in the hot tub. It's a dump. It does not represent what it used to be, and they're very disappointed. They end up in the hot tub, getting their drink on, and suddenly something goes crazy, and they're teleported to 1986. Same little ski town, everything. It's just 1986. Now, anyone who knows me knows that that is an absolute plus right there. I love the 80s. The music, especially now, I don't know if I like the style, like the clothing back then, but now looking back at it, I love the clothing back then. So this has, once again, some great music to this movie. Really funny acting, and you are really invested in these characters to find out how they can get back to their normal time and how they don't mess things up. It's kind of like a Back to the Future thing, because the nephew, if things change at all in this movie, the nephew will never be born. So it's a great movie, really funny, a little bit crude. I think this one's rated R, maybe PG-13, but probably R. Oh, no, definitely R. and so it might not be one for the little kids, but it is a great movie. So check out Hot Tub Time Machine. All right, my third movie in today's list of rainy day movies is one of my all-time favorite movies ever. It has one of the coolest casts you could ever think of. And just saying that, you might have a guess what it is. It is 2001's Ocean's 11. Let's go through the cast. George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, Bernie Mac, who we sadly lost several years ago, Elliot Gould, Carl Reiner, Eddie Jameson. We had Scotty Conn, we had Casey Affleck, Julia Roberts, Andy Garcia. We had, I had to look at this name, Sheobo Quinn. He played I can't remember what, the Grease Man. I think the Grease was his kind of nickname, because he was the guy that could fit into tight spots. And he was a contortionist kind of thing. And also, here, this is kind of crazy. It actually also starred Don Cheadle, who, of course, went on to like Iron Man 2 and 3, and he's been in an Avengers movie. But he wasn't credited, even though he was one of the main 11. For some reason, and I don't know that answer, he was not credited as Basher in the movie. But Don Cheadle is an amazing actor. He went on to work with the series even further. Now, a couple funny things about this. Of course, it's Steve Soderbergh. Awesome director. He is just, I mean, he's amazing. A couple of funny things about this, though, is number one, Julia Roberts, who was a huge megastar at this point. In the end credits, it goes through all the people's names, and then it says, and introducing Julia Roberts. And I think that was definitely a kind of a inside joke, because usually the introducing is like some new up-and-comer that you've never heard of. But it is a great movie. It's all these guys getting together to attempt to rob 3 Las Vegas casinos in one night at the same time. And the casinos are owned by Andy Garcia, and we find out later why they're trying to rob those 3 casinos. but it's hard to imagine a cast this big with this many celebrities, this many well, let's start with the egos, because these celebrities, these guys, I'm sure have a little bit of egos, but apparently they all got along so well and had a blast. There was like no prima donnas on the set. In fact, they actually went on to do Oceans 12 and 13, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But also their star power. And you look at this and you think, well, with that many stars, people are going to fade in the background and not really get their credit. But Steven made sure that every single actor had great moments, really funny little things that they did, even down to the least characters, Scotty and Casey. They had some great moments. So, amazing movie. They did do an Oceans 12 and 13. We'll talk about those someday, I'm sure. But the short thing is, Oceans 12, avoid it like the COVID-19 virus, okay? It was just horrible. Oceans 13 was great. It kind of made you feel good about the series. And then there's a movie that is not with these guys called Oceans 8, which is the female version. And it has, once again, it's another big star-studded cast. We'll talk about it another day. So and this was made from an old black and white movie starring, I feel like it was some parts of the Rat Pack. I can't remember if it was Frank and Dean or who all exactly it was. It really didn't seem to have much of a resemblance to this movie. And I did watch it once, and nothing stuck with me as being, wow, that was really good. So I can't necessarily recommend the old black and white one, but for today, your number 3 movie is absolutely Ocean's 11. All right, our fourth movie today is the 2018 comedy Tag. Now, what makes this movie so great is, first of all, it's based on a true story. If you know me, I love true story movies. This is the story about a group of friends who, for 30 years, every year, the entire month of May, they play tag. It spills into their work. It spills into their personal life. They fly great distances across the country to sneak up and surprise and tag and run. It is like these men-child, kind of reminds you like almost like a fraternity that just never got out of the fraternity. And the cast is absolutely awesome. It's Ed Helms, who was in, of course, Office, the Hangover movies. He was in the remake of Vacation. He played Clark Griswold. It has John Hamm, who just exploded onto the scenes with Mad Men and Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. And then it also has Jeremy Renner. And Jeremy was in The Hurt Locker, and he was also Hawkeye in the Avengers movies. So great cast, and it's one of those, it's not going to win any awards. I don't think it did win any awards. But you can't help but sit and watch it and just laugh. If you need a good laugh on a rainy day when you're feeling down, this movie will deliver. I believe it's rated R, so it's a little bit crude, but it is absolutely amazing. Go check out Tag. Okay, for my last movie today, we're going way, way back to 1989 with an old movie. Maybe you've seen it. I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, you got to check it out. And if you have, it's a fun rewatch. It's Weekend at Bernie's. Now, this stars Andrew McCarthy, who at the time, of course, was deep into the Brat Pack. He had St. Elmo's Fire and Pretty in Pink. And it has Jonathan Silverman, who did Death Becomes Her, and one of my favorite sports movies called Little Big League, which you will definitely be hearing about in a future video. And also Terry Kaiser, who I looked at Terry Kaiser's IMDb, and it is, especially TV shows, it seems like you take any TV show from the 80s, anyone, St. Elmo or Hill Street Blues, St. Elsewhere, any TV show, it seems like he was on it. He is everywhere on IMDb and is still acting as we speak. So it's a cool movie, and let me go through the gist of it real quick. Is these two guys trying to work their way up the corporate ladder find a mistake in the bookkeeping of this company, and they go talk to the owner, Bernie, and he acts all excited that they found this mistake and he's given them praise. So he invites them out to his house at the ocean, beach house. And they go out and they find Bernie dead. Someone had already came in and killed Bernie. And they don't want to get in trouble, so they actually start pretending like Bernie's alive. In that they actually put sunglasses on him, and they put one of his arms around each of them, and they're kind of like walking in, almost like they're helping him because he's such a party animal. He got drunk, and people are buying it. They still think Bernie's alive. In fact, even the person that was hired to kill Bernie sees him walking around with these other guys and thinks he's still alive. And so he goes and has to kill him again. It's just hilarity ensues, as they say. It is a funny movie, and it's a little dated. It is 1989, but you're going to hear a lot of 1980s movies from me in following movie time videos, because the 80s movies were absolutely amazing. And we'll do some more rainy time videos, but for right now, your number 5 video for this time is Weekend at Bernie's. Okay guys, that's it. That's your 5 rainy day movies for today. So, have you guys seen the movies that I just showed you? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you haven't seen them and watch them, let me know what you thought of the movies. Also, what movies would you watch on a rainy day? Put that in the comments, because I might talk about them on my next rainy day video. Alright guys, I need you to click the thumbs up button if you like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell notification so you get notified when I put new videos up, and tell all your friends about my brand new channel. Thank you all so much. Until next time, much love.